remote control. Twists and turns gonna
We
take
are
its toll.
here, the Subject to Changes podcast. I can't believe it. We've done so many of these, Eric, and we're back again. I am here. I'm Geno McGahee. I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Eric Michaelian. Eric, how are you doing, sir?
Geno, how's it going, man? I have one question for you.
Sure.
Do you believe in the devil?
I do. I do. I believe in the devil, and I do believe that he does look as advertised. At least I hope he does. The horns, a pitchfork. Yeah, that's cool stuff. Like Bill Cosby once played the devil.
You're always going on about, well, why does he pop into your mind every Thursday night at around 9 p.m.?
I was a fan of pudding pops. Those are good. They had that layer of ice around it. It was the best fudgicle of all time. Was the pudding pop. I look at it this way: I separate all the bad stuff he did from the pudding pop. Period. And no one will change my mind.
So tonight we're bringing you guys a lesson in satanic panic. Geno brought up Bill Cosby, and I'm not really sure which one's worse.
Well, yeah, it depends how you look at it. I mean, he was good to Theo, don't you think?
So tonight we're bringing to you 3 films about satanic panic. We got Race with the Devil, we got The Devil's Reign, and we got Late Night with the Devil.
That is some satanic panic. And Eric, you're kind of young. I don't think you lived through the satanic panic, or at least you were probably still watching Gummy Bears, and I'm not sure whether the snorkels or what. They're snorks. Yeah, I think that's what they were called. I was like early teens when the satanic panic came around with Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, horror movies, all that stuff. What was your fond memories of the satanic panic? Do you remember anything from that time? Cardinal of the Catholic Church saying that Ozzy was sending out satanic messages through his guitar, and that Judas Priest was backmasking messages to push suicidal messages. Do you remember that stuff, or were you too young?
I started going to Catholic elementary school in 1990, I believe. So the satanic panic was still kind of in the air at the time. They did warn us about Satan. They did talk about the evils of Satan, but I never experienced the true satanic panic of the 1980s.
It was a good time. You may not believe this, I was a metalhead. So I listened to groups like Slayer and Merciful Fate and Wasp. I watched like this whole like court case thing happen with Al Gore's bitchy plump wife saying we need to get rid of metal music and everyone needs to listen to fucking, I don't know, John Cougar Mellencamp. We fought back. We won. Well, no, maybe not, because metal is gone. Maybe we lost. I forget how it turned out.
Well, actually, I think John Denver testified. John Denver, of all people, I love John Denver. They brought him in because they figured he was going to be like sort of the softie and be like, yeah, they shouldn't have violent lyrics and they shouldn't do this. But John Denver was like, you can't censor music. Oh my God, we're all artists here. How could you possibly do that to us? And I was like, I can go, John Denver. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That leads to my theory that Tipper Gore fucked with his airplane. It's just a conspiracy theory, but no one
you just made up right now.
Well, I think
that's how these things get started, Geno.
Oh, not always. This one, yes, but this is just a theory. And you know what? Prove me wrong. Where was Tipper on the day the plane got fucked?
She was probably in Washington D.C. relaxing, being the vice president's wife. It was 1997, right?
Oh, yes, but probably. Yeah. That's how this bullshit debate starts. You don't know. I think she was fucking Rocky Mountain High. That's where I think she was.
Maybe she was. Maybe she was. I don't know her. I don't know Gore personally, but I don't think she would do that.
Maybe not. Who knows? She tried to kill heavy metal music. That was bad.
Not in the plane crash, she didn't. It's Tipper Gore behind the death of Leonard Skinner. She was there the day the music died.
Oh God!
She got a degree in aviation just to kill off rock stars.
We talked about that song before. I'll say it again. It sucks. Now let's go the movies. We're gonna start with Race with the Devil, which is one of the best movies of all time, bar none, and it's not debatable. Eric, what did you think of Race with the Devil, and what's it about?
Race with the Devil is about Warren Oates and Peter Fonda take their 2 wives and they go on a road trip. I believe they go on a road trip to Texas from Colorado.
Yep.
And they go to just be able to race dirt bikes out in like the open plains. So they go to this little clearing where they park their RV, And one thing I did love was Warren Oates. Whenever he gets drunk, he gets really like emotional and sentimental, and he's just like, "Man, this is good. This is great. I love this. I love you, man." And
Yep.
Peter Fonda's like, "Yeah, okay, all right, dude."
Yep.
So as they're out drinking that night, they look across a clearing and then they see a satanic cult
Yes.
is stripping a girl naked, holding her over a fire, and driving a knife right into her.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get freaked out. The satanic cult starts chasing them in their RV. They shatter the windows and everything as they make their way out of this like canyon. That was a cool opening, I will say. There's a lot of stuff
Badass.
before that. I loved just bam, Satanism. Get the fuck out of the valley. It was pretty cool. What did you think of that scene?
Absolutely tremendous. The visuals were awesome. I think anytime you have the satanic cult robes, the sacrifice, the big fire, it's got a great look. And I also like how Peter Fonda and Warren Oates are like having fun with it at first. You know, they think it's art students or something that are just having fun, and then they see the murder, and now you have the wives screaming from the trailer or the RV saying, "Hey, come back! What are you doing?" And now the Satanists are on their tail, and it's a very cool opening because the suspense doesn't take long. By the way, did you notice who the guy on the racetrack was timing Peter Fonda in the beginning? Did he look
No, who was
familiar
that?
to you?
No.
He played Franklin in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, I thought he was one of the guys at the end.
No, he was that guy. I don't think they could tolerate him too much. I heard he's a real fucking pain in the ass to work with. No one liked him.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I know that one of the wives was played by Lauren Swit, who recently passed.
Yes.
Good, R.I.P. Hot Lips Houlihan.
Hot Lips. You ever know anyone but with the nickname Hot Lips?
That was my nickname in college.
Oh, that's who I was hearing. That's who I was hearing about. Then it's too bad we didn't cross paths. So we got Warren Oates, Peter Fonda. They jump in the RV and they're off and running. And the Satanists are attacking the RV. Everything's going crazy. What's nice about this is like this film, it wasn't trying to like appeal to just like youngsters. This is a flat out drama horror film with like believable characters and doing actually like smart things. Like they did everything right in this film, and it still doesn't turn out well for them. What did you think about that? What did you think about the approach of the two main characters? They did nothing stupid. They were still very suspicious of everything. How did you like that? How did you like the intelligence of these characters?
I liked the realism of like, like I'm not gonna stick around when I just saw something like that or try to be brave. It's like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like
Yeah,
the one thing I didn't like was just like how the wives were so completely useless in this movie. They were just like, no, oh god, they keep coming for it. Like they literally did nothing to help out, and it seems to be a theme throughout this whole movie. So they all go to a sheriff and tell the sheriff what happened, and the sheriff's like, it's probably just drugs and hippies,
yep,
And they go back to the site, and there's no Satanists there and no remnants except for a dead hanging dog. The women then go to the local library where they get a book on witchcraft and Satanism, and they find a tiny little scroll in the RV that they later identify as a rune, which
Yep.
is what stops Michael Myers in the producer's cut of Halloween 6. For reference.
Well, one that's a great movie, and I'll push back a little bit on the women being useless in this sort of situation. When you got these big guys attacking the RV, I'm like, what are their chances? I guess they could throw something at them, but realistically, they would lean on the physical strength of their husbands. Although Warren Oates doesn't look physically strong to me, to kind of like solve it. Like, but didn't Hot Lips drive the RV at one point? Like she did that to get out of there, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe at one point, but like anytime they're under duress or under attack, they just scream in the background. It was like really obnoxious.
It would be weird though if Warren Oates was always screaming in the background instead, though, don't you think?
I'll take that over a useless character.
Oh,
I'll take him screaming in the background if like these women did something. So the cops, you kind of get the feeling the cops are in on it. They all decide to leave town, go to an RV park, I believe. Yeah,
Yep.
they go to an RV park where they're starting to relax. They're starting to let their hair down a little bit. And they meet this couple in the next RV called the Hendersons.
I love
who
the
just, like,
Hendersons.
who just come into their RV and just start snooping around, just like, hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? Hey, can I look in here? Hey, what's in the bedroom? And it's like, it's like,
Oh.
was it Peter Fonda and his wife are just sitting back there being like,
Yes.
hi, what the fuck are you doing in our bedroom?
Yeah, well, the Hendersons, they had the same RV, but they went with the wood instead of the plastic. And so they were kind of curious to see, what was going on there. And I've never been to a RV campground thing, but I'm guessing there's a certain level of community spirit there where they do those like cookouts and their kids run around together. So maybe that's what the Hendersons thought. Hey, they can come into my place, look around. I'm going to go in their place, look around. So I didn't think it was that far fetched, and I kind of like the Hendersons. The husband was kind of weird.
Maybe I'm just a fairly private person. I was like, if someone started snooping around in my RV, I'd be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
What, I look like a communist?
Yeah. Especially if he said you want to meet my Harry Henderson. That would be uncalled for, I think.
Yes, that would be uncalled for. So the Hendersons take them out for dinner. They go to some honky tonk, and then a fight breaks out. So they all leave. They all go back to the RV, and they find their dog Ginger hanging dead from the door, and none of the neighbors saw or heard anything.
This is the thing, like one thing you left out. The Hendersons, Mr. Henderson, when he's trying to convince them to go to the honky tonk, he had one of the best deliveries when he goes, in country music, probably the best in the whole wide world. I love that delivery of that line. And you know what? That fat guy that was singing in the blue velvet suit, it may not have been the best country music, but hey, I don't like country music, and I thought it was pretty jamming. What do you think?
I thought it was too. They promised a good steak dinner and a good honky tonk jam, and they got it. Unfortunately, like I said, a fight broke out, which I guess happens all the time. They just couldn't put up with it, so they took off. They start taking off. They leave. Then they find snakes placed in the cabinet.
Yeah, well, they find the dead dog first, hanging from the door.
Yeah, we covered that.
But that also was the point where they looked at the crowd who's surrounding them, and they're like, didn't anyone hear anything? Didn't anyone see anything? And now this creates this whole feeling that they can't escape. This satanic cult is everywhere. At least that's the feeling. And I think this ominous feeling gets bigger throughout the film. And I think that's a good scene that really brings the seriousness of this cult. That's what I think.
They seem to be everywhere. So everywhere they go, the eyes of everyone there is like continually follow like one of the wives, and she starts noticing that everybody's looking at her when they go to the pool in the RV park, when they go to the restaurant. And that's one thing I do love about this movie is there's sort of a creeping dread that follows them wherever they go, like all throughout the state. It's like every time they go somewhere, there's always like people from this part of the state watching them. This movie's not a love letter to Texas. Like, I feel like Texas is like unfairly maligned since Kennedy was assassinated, you know?
I agree, because Northerners, a lot of Northerners are up their own ass, and I'm a Northerner, so I can say it. And they don't like Southerners. A great example, which will back up my point, that guy who was fixing the window on the RV, he couldn't even pronounce window. He said winder. I'm going to replace your winder. I don't believe that there's someone so uneducated in Texas that would pronounce it winder. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just maybe that's just the regional dialect, because you know that there's people out there that say the word idea.
Oh yes.
Like, oh, I got a great idea. You know, it's like there's no R in there, but sometimes people that's just a colloquial way of saying it. You know?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's bad writing. I think that's just the way it's said in that part of Texas.
Yeah, sometimes you get things that like are honest mistakes. Can you go in my bathroom and put some cock on the floor? That actually is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's not dirty. It's just saying, hey, you got to put that white stuff all over my floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, luckily I've never had to have a bathroom redone, so they've never had that kind of confusion.
Yeah, I know one good caulker if you're ever interested.
I'm good. Thank you, man. I'll figure it out on my own.
Okay.
I'll just have to erase my search history afterwards. So one thing Texas is good for, they go to a convenience store, and Frank, not a resident of the state, because I think they're from Colorado.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can I buy that shotgun over there? And he's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, that'll be $60. It's like, oh yeah, we're just cool. So Frank buys a shotgun.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
did you notice there was two side characters in this that were from decent action films? You have the sheriff who was in Commando, and you had that white trash guy who was in Rambo.
which white trash?
Oh, he's a guy with a mustache. He spoke to him a couple times. One when the phone didn't work. One earlier on, I think he was carrying the cat, unless I'm thinking of the Winder guy. He's the guy who fucked up John Rambo in First Blood.
Yeah.
And then you had the guy from Commando as the sheriff. And that sheriff, even though it's a small role, God bless that actor. He made it shine.
I definitely remember him. R.G. Armstrong.
Amazing.
He was in Predator, Children of the Corn, and Dick Tracy.
That's right, I'm sorry, Predator. When he was driving with Oates and Fonda, and he's with his deputy, and he's talking about the people having sex and putting the dog blood all over him, when he looks back and smiles at them, trying to make light of everything. I think had Oates and Fonda, had they decided to just make light of it themselves, I don't think they would have had the cult on their ass like they did.
Probably not. I don't know what the cult was after, because it seems like everybody in Texas was in on it. So like, who are they going to tell? Every place they go, the phone doesn't work and no one's helping them and no one's being helpful to them. They're being followed constantly by this red truck. And it just seems like the whole goddamn state of Texas is in on it.
You remember when in the beginning, when Peter Fonda, he took his own sample of the blood at the kill scene?
Yeah.
And he said, if the sheriff sends out the blood and it comes back dog, and I send mine out and it comes back human, we're going to know all about this sheriff. I think it's Hot Lips that says, well, why don't we go to this place? And he's like, it's not far enough away. We need to go further. And so then this feeds back into my whole thing where he's thinking rationally. He's like, we don't know how big this cult is. We need to get far away and send it to the FBI where they're hopefully not part of it, because they're trying to keep them contained in this net, this Texas net, if you will. And I will. I think like the fact that they're trying to stop them so frantically, like with the school bus, I think they're running out of time. I think that the cult has a certain parameter, and when they get to the point where they're on the run and the school bus is in the way, and Warren Oates has that great line, school bus on Sunday, I don't buy it, and drives through it. I think they're basically at the tail end of where the majority of this cult is active. So I think they were doing the right thing. I think they would have gotten far enough away had they not parked for the night.
Don't they try to redirect them a few times with traffic detours and stuff like that. And the second time, it's like a staged bus crash, and there's like kids running around outside, and Warren Oates just sees right through it and like plows through. And then that's when it kind of becomes a car chase movie, like three trucks trying to box them in on the highway and knock them off.
Yes.
But thanks to some expert shotgun work, they just start taking out these things. The cars start flipping over and catching on fire and falling off bridges. It literally becomes like a Mad Max movie at the end of it. The Satanists are trying to get inside the RV and just popping off shotgun at them. It was really cool. It was really
badass. I love the bridge scene where the guy climbs on top of the RV and he's pouring gasoline into the RV, and Peter Fonda gets up on the RV and he's like, "Hey, you!" And he looks up and he gets hit in the face with the bridge.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I love that scene. I love all the car chase, the explosion. It's a nice difference from like other films like this at the time, where they kind of mixed in action sequences with the Satan stuff, with the drama stuff, and the mystery. It's a beautiful blend of entertainment here. So they do get chased, and a smart thing this film did was they thought, how the hell can we get the RV to stop driving at night? The lights got knocked out when they got into a crash, so they can't drive at night. So that put them in a position to where they had to camp overnight, leading to one of the coolest endings of all time. Eric, what do you think?
I especially like that shot where the RV pulls up into like the halo of the sun.
Yes.
That was an awesome shot. And a really cool and interesting way to use lens flare. So at the end, they beat off the Satanists and they drive to a remote location. And as soon as they park, a ring of fire makes itself around their RV, and I think they drive right back to where the whole thing started.
I think they did too.
The Satanists come out, cut to a tableau, and that's the end of your movie.
But you do get the sheriff coming back as a Satanist, the Hendersons coming back as Satanists, Rambo guy. It was a cool way to end the film, and you knew it was coming. It was too calm for it not to happen, and they did the slow motion stuff at the end. But at this point, their goose is cooked. Race with the Devil, one of my favorite movies, Eric. But I'll let you speak first. What are your overall thoughts of Race with the Devil? How does it compete with onslaught of 70s Satan movies at the time?
I didn't really like the mix of tones to it. It started out pretty creepy with them seeing satanic ritual and then being followed and the eyes being on them, but then it kind of switches over to like this car chase action film, which I don't really like blending them that much.
Uh-huh.
I like action and action movies. I like horror and horror movies. I don't mind an action horror movie. It doesn't set itself up that way,
Yep.
But overall, I would say it's a pretty fun watch. It's pretty unnerving at times when everybody's just kind of looking at Swit, I think, or Lauren Swit, and the way they're getting like more progressively freaked out. And I do love conspiracy films and cult films and stuff like that. I would say it's overall pretty good, but I feel like it could have been a lot better. Gino, what do you think?
Well, one, I want to give credit to the trailer with the tagline, "When you race with the devil, you'd better be faster than hell." I love that shit. This is one of my favorite movies. I've probably watched it a million times. There's something about it that just clicks with me. I love cult movies. I think what really appeals to me in this film is we're not dealing with scared kids or stupid adults. We're dealing with people that are dealing with it the way that I would deal with it or anyone would deal with it, basically. Like you said, they have 50 cult members chasing them. They're not looking to fight. They are looking to get the fuck out, and then they go to the cops. That's what you do. And then they get suspicious of the cops. They don't blindly believe them, and they're systematically trying to get away and prove what they saw. And I think it's so cool. I like the idea. You don't know who's in it. You kind of suspect a little bit. I love this film. I think it's fantastic. I could watch it a million times. One of my favorite films. What I consider to be a perfect film. Love it, Eric. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I did appreciate that there's no fucking around in this movie. There's no people doing dumb things for stupid reasons. It's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. We need to go, just go. Well, we can't drive right now. Okay, but buy a shotgun. That was I appreciated that, even if it could have been a little bit better.
Sure. Now we're going to a film that I think will be the highlight of our discussion. The 1975 Ernest Borgnine, William Shatner, Devil's Reign. Eric, what what is Devil's Reign about, and what do you think of Devil's Reign?
Honestly, I don't really know what it's about. I watched it and I was just like, what? The thing about this movie is it starts scenes like in the middle of scenes. Like it throws you into these scenes where people are already talking and you're just like, what the fuck? What are you like? What the fuck is going on?
Yep.
We meet Mrs. Preston, played by Ida Lupino.
Yes.
And John are sitting inside their house and they're worried about Mark and Steve. Now, we don't know who Mark and Steve are. But then Mark comes home, played by William Shatner, and he's
played well by William Shatner.
We can talk about that for sure. Played by William Shatner, who's Steve is William Shatner's father and Ida Lupino's mother. And then Steve comes back holding a Is he holding a book? He's holding a book.
Yes.
And he's melting.
Oh,
and
that was. I thought they bukkakied him.
I think you may have been like going back and forth between screens, and everything just kind of blended together.
Oh, I was watching pornography at the same time.
That's what I meant. Yep. That's Geno.
Go ahead, you said the guy with the cum face. Continue.
So Steve says, "Give Corbus what belongs to him." So Steve melts into a puddle. Mark goes in the truck to go confront Corbus, I think.
Yeah.
And then he hears commotion in the house. It takes him a couple minutes to work up the gumption to get back in there.
Yep.
But then he comes in and he finds that his mom's been kidnapped and John has been strung up by his legs inside of maybe 2.5 minutes. I'm just like, these guys work fucking quick. And then delivers just a great line, Geno. Did you write down what that line was?
Was it Corbus? God damn you! Was it that one?
That's too much feeling. Corbus! God damn you!
Now, I think he would have only said Corbus, but when the old guy was hanging upside down, if you watch the movie, he swings face first into Shatner's crotch. And I think that Shatner himself was offended. He thought he was taking liberties. So they probably, I might be stretching here a little bit, that old guy's nickname may have been Corbus off screen. So it was kind of like a double thing. Because I tell you what, if a guy who looks like the guy from the Dukes of Hazzard goes face first into my crotch upside down, I'm filing a complaint.
You be sure to take it up with Corbus as long as you don't give him the book.
Pages are probably stuck together, but go ahead.
So Mark decides he's going to go into, was it Redwood?
Yes.
The town of Redwood, to confront Corbus and not give him the book. He gets a special amulet that is supposed to protect him from Corbus's powers. There's just a long scene of William Shatner driving with scary music playing, and nothing scary is happening on screen. It's just literally him driving, like do 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 do. He stops, he gets out of the car, he takes his jacket off, he puts the jacket in the car, gets back in the car. Nothing dangerous is happening. It's like, very, very ominous music.
They were banking on people saying Borgnine is worth the wait, and he was. But this is nothing new for Shatner during this time. In Kingdom of the Spiders, he's going bareback on that horse for a good 10 minutes, and it was in the beginning as well. This is, I think, like a theme for these Shatner films of the 70s. Anything's better than Star Trek.
Oh, dude, you're gonna make so many enemies.
Geeks watch it.
So Mark goes into town and he meets Ernest Borgnine, who plays Corbus. If you don't know him, he's from Escape from New York and Poseidon Adventure. And Mark challenges Corbus to a battle of faith inside the church.
I love when he says a challenge, my faith versus yours. I really like that line. How can you not love Borgnine? I wish there was Borg 10, if you know what I mean. Sorry.
Like, I'm the one that's supposed to make the bad puns, dude.
Yeah, that was about as bad as it gets.
Stay in your lane.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't think. The problem is I listened to myself say it. I shouldn't have.
I couldn't stop myself. I'm so sorry for who I am.
But Borgnine was awesome in this. Have you seen Super Fuzz?
No.
Oh my God, Borgnine is a cop in that. It's about what's that?
Were you flipping between screens again?
No. This had nothing to do with fuzzy genitals, as you're implying. It was actually about police. That's what police used to be called, fuzz. So you see, everyone learned something today. But we get the scene where Borgnine dresses like a cowboy, and so does Shatner. And if you know what, if there's a holy war, I'm not counting out cowboy hats. I think it's very possible that we will see angels and demons in cowboy hats. Being a biblical scholar, Eric, does anything back that up?
You can use them in stealth. You can use them on the battlefield. Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be angels and demons in cowboy hats. You
can even use them to line dance,
which I'm sure the victors will do over the dead bodies of their nemesis.
I agree with you. So Borgnine and Shatner, they have a battle of faith. Now Shatner has an ace up his sleeve because he's got that necklace, and I thought it was a very cool scene when he walks into the church that's all boarded up, but now it's like a Satan church. All the cult members are sitting there. He walks in, he sits down. Here comes Borgnine in that red cloak. I like that scene. I thought that scene was pretty cool. What do you think?
The background of everybody chanting and moaning and groaning, it was pretty cool. I'm not really sure like what the test of faith was. Was it like listen to Ernest Borgnine talk, and if you're not seduced by him, then you win?
I think in the end, like it was, I like when they were going back and forth with the satanic prayer and the Christian prayer going back and forth, but I think what happened is Shatner, his faith wasn't as pure because he got distracted. When he saw his mother there with the black eyes and the crowd starting getting close to him, he couldn't keep it together. He didn't have the faith that God would help him, and that's how he lost. I thought that was done well. I thought it was a very cool scene, and the creators of this film said, who can ham it up the best? Someone had to say, what about Borgnine and Shatner? They got the perfect duo to overact the shit out of this film. I loved it.
Yeah, you thought the test of faith was going to be more of a subtle debate of ideas in front of all these congregants, but it's really just, hey, you got to hail Satan. No, God damn you. No, I'm not, no, Mom. You know, you're like, okay, well, I guess that didn't go how I thought that was going to go. Sure. So the congregants of this satanic church start to come after Shatner. Shatner shoots one of them.
Yes.
and it oozes out like phantasm, and then
Yes.
runs out. And what was really a cool shot was Mark runs, and it just looks like they hooked a camera up to a car and just like took off, because
Loved it.
all the congregants start running after him and start coming in from the sides, and then they finally corner him at his car. He is overtaken and then cut. He's not going to be in the movie for a long time.
Kind
Cut
of surprising to see him removed like that. But there was that one good line after he shot the guy of Borgnine looking down at the dead cult member and saying, "Is that your faith?" or something along those lines. There was a lot to chew on there. Like, as silly as this film is, it has moments of good writing. And now I thought that whole scene was done pretty well.
Well, actually, that was set up pretty well, because the earlier scene when him and Ernest are talking, like Shatner puts his hands on his hips and opens his vest, and you see the gun, and the line is, "Well, it all depends on what you put your faith in." And
Yes.
then when he calls back after he shoots the cult member, you see the gun in his waistband, and he goes, "Oh, is that your faith?" It's like,
Yes.
that did absolutely nothing.
I loved it. Loved it. And you're right. The running scene with the church in the background and the cult members chasing him down, that's some epic shit. This film is absurd, but at certain points, it is doing it very, very well. Go
We
ahead.
cut to Julie, who
Yes.
is in a hypnotic state, and they say that she has ESP. If she meditates deeply enough, she can will her body to do sort of unconscious functions and stuff like that.
Yep.
Her husband is Tom Skerritt, in a classroom or a medical classroom or something.
I think so. I think they're having either other college professors observe them, or it's an open college class to where anyone who's interested can come and check out this ESP stuff that we do. One or the other.
Julie starts getting flashes of the cult and herself up against like a rainy pane of glass. We don't know what it is, but it freaks her the fuck out.
Mhm.
But then Tom, played by Tom Skerritt, finds
Yep.
out that his family's gone missing. They immediately cut to him talking to the sheriff, like again, in the middle of a scene. And he's just like, "So where are they? I don't know. You know, they could be over there. They could be over there. Who knows?"
Yeah, sheriff was
like,
useless.
I'm like, can we slow down for 2 seconds, guys? I'm trying to like catch up to who the new characters are. I mean, the movie's only 86 minutes, so
Yes.
thank Satan for that. But it was just like, it just moved too fucking fast. Sheriff Owens was played by Keenan Wynn. Very good actor. He was in the original Mechanic and Doctor Strangelove.
Yes.
So then Tom goes to Red Rock, where Mark went, and they're torturing Mark, and they carve a big pentagram into his chest. They make him kiss his mother.
Well, it starts
they
out.
say like, "Oh, like here's the seductress, and she's gonna charm you and stuff." So this like very beautiful woman leans in to kiss William Shatner, and then they cut to, it's actually his mom.
Now that's a bad prank to play if you're the devil. He brought in Lilith, the Queen of Delight. When you hear, well, one, Lilith, you got to figure they're in their 70s at this point. No one names their kid fucking Lilith anymore. But if we were in 19...
My friend's daughter's name is Lilith.
They're bringing it back. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't Lilith Adam's first wife in the Garden of Eden, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, yes. The one that's hardly spoke of, but yes. But this Lilith, the Queen of Delight, and I'm glad they're bringing that name back. It's a good name, Lilith. No, I don't know. It's in it, Lily. I think I'd call them Lily. But anyway, yeah, turning into the mother, man, that's not good. I know some guys, they have those stepmom fantasies, but no guy has a mom fantasy that I know. How about you? Not you. I'm not asking you.
Keep your eyes on the movie, Geno. Stop taking little detours on your phone during the
You
film.
asked me a question. You asked me a question about the mom.
There was
the
no
mom.
question involved.
You asked me about
anyway,
Queen of Delight.
At least The Shining had the decency not to make it Jack Nicholson's mother who he was making out with.
Yeah.
So Tom and Julie go to the church. And this is where I kind of looked. It was like, man, Tom Skerritt's just like a handsome guy.
Beautiful man.
And then they find a cross and a knife, and Mark. They find Mark's shirt, and you know it's Mark's shirt because it just says "Reston" on it, like written in blood. It's like they had to do that like after the movie was finished. They're just like, how does he know that this is his shirt? Right, Preston on it.
Yes.
It literally looked like a flannel like basketball jersey, like with his name on the back.
Well, he didn't want anyone to steal it, so it makes sense, more or less.
True. So then they leave, and then they get outside. Their car blows up. Cut to a flashback where in Pilgrim times.
Well, before the Pilgrim times, they get attacked by John Travolta. I like that. I like the fact that Travolta is not taking any more shit. He was tired of all those headlines they had about him. He was tired of all the people that weren't big fans of old dogs, and he just he's part of this cult now. And you bring up beautiful men. Travolta's a beautiful man, hairpiece or not.
Well, I think this was before Old Dogs. This might have been like a couple of years before he did Old Dogs or Pulp Fiction or Blowout.
Yeah, true, but Satan
Although
can't time travel.
that this is the movie where he first discovered Scientology by one of his co-stars.
Was it Tom? Did Tom tell him
No,
about
it was I think it was Julie.
Oh God.
I want to say it was the lady who played Julie.
He should have went into Satanism.
Like Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, Mr. Bojangles. Good song.
Corbus was alive in the 1600s, and he's interrogating the cult of followers that he has back then, because someone took the book of all the names of all of his followers, and nobody knows who did it, and it was fucking William Shatner's ancestor. His wife was the one that took the book and told the reverend of the town, and then the people of the town come and burn all of the followers at the stake, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I learned something in this scene. I didn't know that they had wigs in the Pilgrim times. Did you?
What, you talking about William Shatner's hairpiece?
That was a terrible wig. But yeah, I love the overacting of both characters in this scene. Like Shatner and Borgnine, I think they're feeding off each other, which is a beautiful thing.
It's a symbiotic relationship. They both make the other one worse.
I think better because like I've said before on other episodes, I'll say it again. If it checks the box of entertaining, it wins. And I was dying laughing when Borgnine gets put on the cross and gets burnt up. The fact that he's laughing maniacally for what seems like an hour and a half is hilarious. The fact he says the cock will crow in the dark. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I love it. This is a good scene, and with Shatner making the anguished faces in the corner as Borgnine burns up, I fucking died laughing. I loved it. They really did a good job there, and I like movies about the witch trials. That's fun stuff. There's been other horror films that delved into it, but this film, I think they did a good job recapturing the spirit.
That was a fun scene. So then we cut back to Tom and Julie in modern times.
Yeah.
They get away from the town, and then Tom tells Julie to go back to the sheriff, I believe.
Yes.
And then he goes back to the town on foot, but there's a cult member in the back seat, and she gets into a crash. So then they take Julie. Okay. And then Mark goes to the ceremony after that.
Does he meet up with Professor Richards first?
I don't fucking remember.
I think he meets up with Dr. Richards first because he wants to get Julie back. So he invited Dr. Richards over, and this is more good dialogue here, where Dr. Richards is like, you need to calm down. We need to know what the hell we're up against here. I thought there was some good writing and delivery there. Tom calms down, teams up with Dr. Richards, who's kind of a historian. They look at the book. The book is of a signature in blood from all the people that sold their souls to Borgnine there. So then they go to the ceremony. They have, I believe, Julie laying down for sacrifice. They got Shatner tied up. We get to see, and I'm sure this is probably the point where you looked away, the terrifying transition of Borgnine into the devil.
Is that what he was?
He turns
I
into.
thought he was just a goat.
Well, yeah, Baphomet, Moloch, whatever. Who calls me out from the pit? Why does he care? You'd think he'd like to be out from the pit. I'm not going to say that'd be the pit because that's one of your lines. The makeup is what you would expect from 1975 horror makeup. Not bad, not good.
Oh yeah, that's when they find that William Shatner has been possessed and his eyes are now gone. All right, so I had this theory about this movie, and apparently I'm not the first person to think of this or even acknowledge this. That molding of William Shatner's face for this movie is what I thought they used to make the Michael Myers mask. There's debate about it. I didn't realize there was a whole debate online about this because I looked at it. It was like, this looks like fucking Michael Myers.
And he tilts his head. He tilts his head like Michael Myers in that scene. Like,
yeah, and he's got he's got the blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. Ah,
yes. It definitely is this. I don't think there's any debate to be had, because the fact that he had the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes, feeds into where they got the look from. I think you're right. I think that they probably got the casting from this film.
John Travolta gets one line. He calls them a blasphemer, right?
Yeah, he does. Yep.
But I think it was dubbed. I don't think that was actually his voice. Or John Travolta.
But did you notice Anton LaVey was on scene in this film?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And that he was a consultant. So,
well, if you want to give your devil movie credibility, you call Anton LaVey the head of the Church of Satan.
And you know what he probably said when he got there? We need Borgnine in this. That's probably
he was the reason they cast Borgnine. Even though Borgnine, I guess, did not like all the Satanist crap in this movie.
He's a nice guy, you know. He's a good Christian probably, and then thought it went too far. But he also knows it's art, and he's not a scumbag like Mickey Rooney. He's going to do the right thing for the fans. And God bless Borgnine. May you rest in peace if you're dead.
We find out what is actually happening. People are being abducted, and they're getting the souls of the congregants from the 1600s put into their body by something called the Devil's Rain, which is what the Devil's Rain is. It's water and souls inside like a little round television box, and they drip a little water on the head, and then the eyes go black, and then they become the people from the 1600s. Took me a few tries to really understand what the hell was going on. This is not the first time I've watched this movie, but then like when I went back and watched it this time, I was just like, oh, is that the plot of this movie? I had no idea what was going on.
What did you think of Dr. Richards? How confident he was holding that thing, only to have it pried from him and dragged away 2 seconds later. He was using it as a bargaining chip. I want Tom, and I want Shatner, and I want Julie out of here, and I'll give you this. Borgnine is kind of amused, and then they just grab it from him. Like, they're like, fuck you, old man. What you gonna do, bitch? He didn't do anything. Like, he should have smashed that shit the second he had it.
So they're trying to convert Julie into William Shatner from the 1600s wife, Anessa?
Yes.
But before they can, William Shatner grabs the Devil's Rain television thing, and finally his faith wins out, and he smashes the Devil's Rain, which blows the roof off the church, literally, and the rain starts seeping in. All right. This was a cool scene. Corbus is the goat man, and all the rain from the heavens start falling on them, and then they all start melting. All of them.
Loved it.
Green and yellow, oozy, pussy crap coming out of their eyes and their mouths and pores in their skin, and they start like disintegrating into the rain and turning into little mushy puddles on the ground. Jesus Christ. Yep. This goes on for so fucking long. Oh my God.
Yes.
It goes on for like 15 minutes, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Oh man. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's okay. Yep. There's more. Okay. There's more of them. Yep. Oh, still going. All right. We're getting into the collapsing in on yourself phase. That goes on for a while. Okay. Now they're all turning into puddles. Okay. Now they're just eyes on the ground. Okay. We're still going on. All right. Okay. It goes on I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fucking cool. But you could trim the fat off of this thing, man. You know, like fucking get this thing moving. Although I think if they did, this movie would cease to be 88 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
86 minutes.
86 minutes, I think.
How about a little more expositional scenes so everybody understands what the fuck is going on? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was waiting for a good 3 or 4 minutes for Borgnine to fall into the hole. You knew it was coming, but he kept teetering back and forth, and melting, teetering, blah, 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 blah. That could have been shortened, but I think at this point in film history, This was some impressive special effects. There's not much like it around the time. So I think they knew it could go longer because people never saw something like this before and they would appreciate it. But I tell you what, I would take this stuff over the CGI bullshit we get now any day of the week.
Fair enough. I agree with you, actually. Just fucking edit that shit out. Like, come on. Let it move a little bit.
Yeah.
So Corbus's hand rises out of the pit, but then the church completely blows up. Julie and Tom escape. In the aftermath, they hug because their nightmare is finally over.
Yes.
Tom opens his eyes after hugging Julie. And what does he see, Geno?
What he sees is Corbus hugging him. I have to say, this scene fucked me up so bad when I was a kid. I used to watch, it was called Spine Tinglers. Every Saturday morning, Channel 8, they would play a horror film. And I was 10 years old, 11 years old, and I'm watching The Devil's Reign. The ending of the film creeped me out and sat with me so long. Watching it now, it's kind of silly, but as a kid, it really, really fucked with me. Love the ending. Borgnine is awesome. Great stuff. Eric, how would you rate this film? Would you recommend it? How does it match up against other satanic films of the time?
This movie sucks. It's fun for a laugh. It's fun to make fun of, but if you're trying to sit down and actually watch a good creepy Satan movie, you're not going to follow this movie very well. The plot is way too complicated, way too convoluted. The rules are all over the goddamn place. It pulls that Psycho thing where Marion Crane is like the protagonist for the first half hour, and then it just cuts to somebody else. And you're just like, who the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on? The story's really hard to follow because they just keep dropping you in scenes and people keep going here and there and back and forth and hither and yon. And it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's fun for the overacting, but it's not a good movie. And I would not recommend it if you're looking for like a good horror movie. Geno, what did you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I agree with your points. I really do. It's not a good movie, but it's a great movie. If you're going into this thing over analyzing it and trying to figure out how the pieces fit together, you're going to spend an infinite amount of time doing that, and you will not succeed. This movie is crazy. It's absurd from the start to the finish. They didn't know what they were doing. All they knew is overact, get some Satanists, have them melt, and let's have some fun. And I was okay with that. I think had it not been Borgnine and Shatner, this film could have really been dog shit. But I found myself laughing through the whole thing and rewinding parts of it and enjoying it so much. Like I told you before, I was looking at the DVD artwork and just saying, I'm having a good time here. And this artwork looks pretty fucking cool. When Shatner screams Corbus, hilarious. Just a fun movie. Like, this would be the sort of film that I would go see now if they put it at a drive-in.
Yeah.
If it just has that sort of appeal to me. Really liked it. I think a lot of people would get bored with it, and a lot of people would see what you saw. Very valid point as far as the ending going on too far. But the beginning with the paintings of hell, cool. The barn on fire, cool. Lots of cool visuals, lots of cool dialogue here and there. It kept me interested, kept me entertained. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's not as good as Rosemary's Baby or Race with the Devil or The Sentinel, but this movie has its place. If you're looking for a popcorn B movie, going with low expectations and don't expect a lot of scares, but just a lot of laughs, this is a movie for you.
Completely agree.
Oh, we're on the same page. Beautiful. Eric, your 2-minute movie review. Every episode, we give Eric 2 minutes to discuss a movie that he's seen and enlighten us most of the time. Eric, what beautiful film do you have lined up for us for your 2-minute movie review?
I have a couple. I saw the movie Friendship by Andrew DeYoung, which stars Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd, and Kate Mara. It's about this like kind of odd suburbanite guy who seems pretty bland and plain in the beginning, and then he makes one male friend and his entire life it completely unravels.
Yes.
This movie's so good. It really addresses the idea of how hard it is for older men to make friends with each other and have sort of intimate relationships with one another, and you know, lacking that sort of intimacy that is sort of required as like a full rounded life. It's awkward. It's insane. It's completely self-destructive. I wouldn't really call it that funny. Like I didn't find the comedy of it that funny, but it's just it's an interesting watch of like a character study about a suburban guy. Definitely check it out. And then I saw Life of Chuck by Mike Flanagan, starring Tom Hiddleston and Chiwetel Ejiofor. This movie is incredible. I love Mike Flanagan. He's one of my favorite writer-directors. The movie is incredibly uplifting. It's a movie that's sort of in love with the fleeting and fragile beauty of life and like what's important to us and dropping things that aren't important to us and really sort of connecting with other people. And it's got long monologues, which may not be everybody's favorite thing, but like I love that shit. And I walked out of the theater just like looking around being like, fucking life is beautiful, man. Like, I just wanted to text all my friends and be like, hey, I love you, like, isn't life great? So
yes.
I highly recommend The Life of Chuck. It's in limited release, unfortunately, but if you can watch this movie, I think you'll feel a lot better for it. It's based on a Stephen King book, and I know he's your favorite filmmaker, so we'll just leave it at that.
Fuck him. They both sound awesome, and you can't go wrong with Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd. He just seems like a nice guy. I've been fooled before, they seem like nice guys, but in this case, I've never heard a bad word about Paul Rudd. So what's your favorite Paul Rudd movie if someone put a gun to your head and they actually wanted that information for some reason?
Besides this movie, I don't really like Paul Rudd that much. Nothing against him at all. I think he seems like a very nice guy. I've never really found the appeal of Paul Rudd. I would say maybe the best Paul Rudd movie is Halloween 6, the producer's cut.
Yes. I would say Role Models is my favorite Paul Rudd movie.
Sean William Scott, yeah.
Yeah, that movie, what's weird about Role Models is that when I first saw it, I wasn't a fan of it, but then it grew on me like Shocker did and like Kingpin did. I must have just been in a mood the first 500 times I watched Shocker. But with Role Models, it only took like three or four times before I started saying, I like this movie. And I think Paul Rudd is a B player. I don't think he can carry a film like on his own, but I think he's likable enough to be like that best friend sort of guy. And
that's a great point. I feel the same way about Seth Rogen.
Absolutely, freaking lootly. Because Seth Rogen is always good, but yeah, he should never be lead. Eric, once again, thank you so much for your 2-minute movie review. Those are two films that we should check out, especially the latter, considering how it made you feel. That's what everyone wants to feel. In this day and age where everyone's at each other's throats, we need love, as Dionne Warwick said. Actually, she said love, sweet love. I'm not sure what that means beyond love, but hey, if it's the sweeter the berry, the sweeter the juice, as they say, right?
I don't think that's quite what they say, but I'll give it to you.
We raced with the devil. We have survived the devil's reign. And now we're going late night with the devil. This almost sounds like a porno. Late night. Remember all those shows back in the day? Late night with this woman, late night with that woman. You'd see it on Skinamax.
No, I think you and I, we had very different TV habits, man.
No. Oh, well, you didn't watch like the cable scrambled so you could get a quick glimpse of a boobie?
I'm sorry, I never did. I apologize.
Oh.
I'm too young. Too young.
You didn't have the magazines under your floorboard?
No.
Good for you. Good for you. Because you know what sucks about...
I wish I could relate to you on that level. It just never happened for me.
No, I'm actually against porno mags because they usually are hidden in basements and they smell like mildew. And it's hard to get in the mood when you smell mildew.
You're an adult now. You can put them wherever you want.
Oh no, I got a dehumidifier for the basement now. So now the porn mags smell fresh.
And the paint's drying at the same time.
Yeah, so it's a thing of beauty. We learn from our parents' mistakes. Now, Late Night with the Devil came out a couple of years back, and there was an immediate buzz to it, and rightfully so. Eric, explain. Late Night with the Devil, why did it stand apart from all the other horror releases that year?
Because this is a well-made, well-crafted, well-acted movie. It all takes place in like basically a single space. It's very tense, and it invokes that vibe of the late 70s talk show hosts that were trying to compete with Carson at the time. Like the Lane Smith show, I guess that was a huge influence on this one. But you had like Merv Griffin, and you had I'm sure there's other ones. I can't name. Was Jack Parr in there somewhere?
I think so. And they had Jackie Gleason had his own show for about 6 weeks.
And it really feels, with the acting and the production design and all this, it really feels like you're watching one of those shows, and desperate ratings that it's going through. So there's this like undercurrent of tension of there's a lot riding on this one episode of television, and you sort of feel the tension going throughout it. When we go through it, we could talk more about that. But I think it works so much because the lead guy, David Dastmalchian, Armenian guy, just throwing that out there, who's been around for a long time. He was in The Dark Knight. He was in he made a movie called Animal. It's the last voyage of the Demeter.
He wasn't a Dark Knight. He was the crazy guy.
He was the crazy guy that tried to kill the mayor and was interrogated by Harvey Dent. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
That was his very first movie.
He did a good job in that. He's memorable. Wow.
Yeah, you remember him on sight. He has that look about him. When you find out more about his personal story, his backstory, you're just like, oh, fucking thank God. Like, you're doing good work. You're pretty wholesome. He made a movie called Animal where it talks about his heroin addiction and his dealing with homelessness and poverty. And once you sort of know like what this guy went through, you're like, oh yeah, congratulations, man. Like, I'll watch anything you're in. Great.
No, I agree with that. It's an awesome thing when someone can get away from the self-destructive to the oh woe is me to the no hope, to actually say I'm not gonna end like this. I'm gonna turn it around. And the fact that he found such success and has made a name for himself is inspiring and outstanding. So yeah, and he's a great actor, and this role was so good for him. I loved the character Jack. I thought, not that it carried the movie, but it was a very compelling character to follow as we went through.
So we find out Jack Delroy is the host of a late night talk show called Night Owls. We get actually a really cool voiceover by Michael Ironside, just talking about Jack Delroy's entire history, how he had a wife who came down with cancer, how he belongs to this mysterious group called The Grove, which
not so mysterious.
Do you want to talk about that, Geno? I know
I will.
Chomping at the bit to talk about secret societies.
Well, I kind of felt when you watch this again and watch the Grove stuff that you would say, why did I choose this movie considering who the co-host is? The Bohemian Grove is a place where world leaders meet up. They do mock human sacrifice. They say it's all for funsies. Richard Nixon bailed out of the Bohemian Grove because they basically wanted him to make it with a bunch of dudes. That wasn't his thing. A lot of people believe that the world leaders make world decisions at the Grove. It's very strange. It's a very strange place. They don't deny it for everyone saying, conspiracy theorist. This isn't a conspiracy. It's a fact. Everyone involved admits they do this stuff, but they say they do it recreationally or to blow off steam. But there is an idea that the elite of the world do certain things with cult activity, including the Bohemian Grove, where they worship Moloch, the god of sacrifice. There, I said it. I believe it. It's
you get
true.
It out? You get it out?
No, it's still stirring. I got more. Got as freaking Clubber Lang said, got a lot of more.
Just a word of warning. This may be the last podcast that Geno and I host together. I may be going solo after Geno's assassinated for talking about Bohemian Grove.
I don't want you to go solo. That's depressing, especially if it's watching Skinamax.
It's gonna be called Subject to Change. So Jack Delroy hosts Night Owls, and it's Halloween 1977.
Yep.
He had a wife who had cancer. He belongs to the Grove. But Jack can never quite penetrate the Carson ratings issue, and his ratings keep falling and falling and falling. He starts getting into more trashy television, kind of like Morton Downey Jr. and like
Jerry Springer.
Phil Donahue type shit. He brings on just like all sorts of crazy people. Mm-hmm. So he's incredibly desperate for ratings. This is sweeps week, so this is it. If he doesn't make good ratings tonight, he may not be renewed for another season. So there's a lot going into this. He brings on a medium called Christu,
I love Chris too.
Yeah, he was in a movie that I want to watch called "We're Not Here to Fuck Spiders."
Oh,
Um,
geez, that would be a difficult proposition.
I want to check it out.
Although they have those big tree spiders in like the jungle that are really big. So if you're gonna do that, I would
No,
assume you'd go after one of
Gino,
those. Yeah.
we're not here to fuck spiders. That's the name of the movie.
Why'd you bring it up?
God, I'm just saying that's the name of the movie he was in. Jesus.
Oh.
So Christu does what's called a cold read of the audience, where he just goes, "I'm seeing a J name. There's a J. Someone J. Eddie, John, Jack, Jim, Jimmy,
Yep.
Joanna. And he bombs.
Yep. Well, that was
And then
pretty
he
popular
finds,
though. That's a popular thing. Like this film focuses on a lot of things, and some things maybe before your time or out of your realm of interests. Was it
Uri Geller.
Uri Geller? That's we can do a whole special on Uri Geller. I have different opinions on Uri Geller, but with I think his name was Dave Edwards, where he had a show where he'd go
Was it John Edwards?
John Edwards.
Yeah,
He'd
no,
go
I
to
remember that stuff.
it kind of went on that because there is the cold read where if you get a group of 30 people and you throw out a name, you're gonna get someone, and they're good at reading people. So, but you're right, Christu, he bombs, and you get Carmichael coming out. And do you know who Carmichael is? No doubt based on
Oh yeah, James Randi.
that guy, that buzzkill. Yes, and they do
Oh please, that guy's awesome. Love him. You hate him because he debunks a bunch of bullshit.
No,
And you love bullshit. You don't necessarily believe in all of it, but I think you like, mystical stuff, other dimensions and things like that.
this is the problem with the Amazing Randy. He debunked a lot of shit for sure, but there is nothing that would ever convince them at all that anything paranormal exists, and that's where the problem lies. This is why when you see this film, and they did a great job where he has the check, just like Randy used to carry the
Mhm.
check. First, I don't think Amazing Randy had the money in the bank, but there is nothing that would convince them because he was so dead set against believing anything. I'm not saying that the spoon bending was paranormal or that the guy who blew the newspaper
The pages,
pages
yeah,
over.
the phone book pages. Well,
Yeah,
he disproved those, like on air. The page thing was like someone like very subtly blowing wind breath and like turning the pages and pretending like it was. But then you put like glass in front of it, and it's like, oh, nothing's happening.
well,
And, like, he
that guy was.
consistently debunked those myths.
But
Consistently.
a lot of times though, Eric, it's you remember the TV show Penn and Teller Bullshit? It was on
Yeah,
Showtime.
I
All
used to
right,
watch that all the time.
me too. And it was a great show. But the problem is, if you're bringing up the kooks, you're gonna easily dismiss them, and then that just backs your point. But if you bring up someone that actually is well spoken and has a debate to be had, you won't see them. Like as much as I like Bill Maher in Religulous cut out his interview with David Icke, and it's because the David Icke interview went in a different direction than he thought it did. It was a tit for tat. So I think with Amazing Randy, he did focus on easy opponents. He didn't go after people that could actually defend themselves because that guy, the pedophile guy with that new karate and could turn newspapers or phone book pages, was just like a magician, and that's easy to pick out. There were
Well,
others.
I mean, the difference is if you say you're a magician and you say this is a trick, like if you
Yeah,
go into a magic show like Penn and Teller or The Amazing Randy,
yeah,
you know that they're not passing it off like something preternatural is happening. And
right,
I think what pisses off people like Penn and Teller and James Randi is that like they're not trying to fool you into believing they have some sort of mystical power that they don't.
right.
And so
Well,
I think that that's what that's about. And especially and this pisses me off
hmm
about mediums, right?
yeah,
So you have, and I know a lot of people are looking for emotional closure, and they can spend money on whatever the fuck they want to live on. But like
yep,
when your last memory of someone is filtered through some fucking jagoff lying sack of shit,
hmm
that's when I have a problem, and that's when I think you're taking advantage of people, and I think that sucks.
I
But like
agree.
the money, I don't really care. It's someone you love, even if they were taken away from you in a tragic accident. Your last image or memory of them is through somebody else, and nice though it may be, it could be just utter horseshit.
And
That's
most of
that's my
most
issue with it.
Well, and I agree with you. I have an issue with that too. It's kind of like the good-hearted reverend versus the televangelist. You gotta find the balance. And like with Uri Geller is what made Amazing Randy, because Uri Geller was immensely popular, and so
Yeah.
for Randy, that was a good target, and it was smart business, especially debunking, and especially on the off chance or on the off note, going after poor Peter Popov. That was a bullshit. Not really, but Uri Geller was part show, but he was a KGB asset. The KGB ran all these tests on him, and he had some sort of skill, but he mixed in some pizzazz. Like, you ever see the clip with Chris Angel and Uri Geller?
No.
Okay, I'll make it quick because we're talking about a movie here, but Chris Angel wanted to prove that there is no psychic ability whatsoever. So he
Mhm.
brought on Uri Geller, and he had an envelope. And he went to Chris Angel, and Chris Angel went to Uri Geller and said, if you can guess what I wrote down in this envelope, then I will give you whatever it was, $1 million, $500,000, whatever. Uri Geller smiles and says, what month were you born in? The minute he said that, Chris Angel opens up the envelope, shows that he wrote down 9/11, and dismisses Uri Geller immediately. And Chris Angel was born in September, so maybe it was coincidence, but I think there was some legitimacy to some sort of psychic phenomenon. But I think I'm with you on the fact that 99% of it is cold calling, is bullshit, is a money thing, and it is despicable to take someone and say, I'm here with your Nana, and she's
Yeah.
smiling at you.
Honestly, maybe it's a bias that I have. I don't believe anything on television,
Hmm.
especially if it's like reality television. I don't believe a word of it.
No, I agree.
Like you can do anything with editing, camera placement, and visual effects and stuff like that. So like if Uri Geller, I think is full of shit. Psychics, mediums, all that crap. If it's on television, I don't believe a fucking word of it.
Hmm.
But anyway, so Christu,
Yeah.
see how good is this movie? We just had a long ass conversation on this, you know.
Yes.
So Christu then gets on a mother-daughter combination, like their father or husband killed themselves or something like that.
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, wow. Great line in there somewhere. He goes, hey, he's all wax and no wick. I forget who said that, but I was like, that's a fucking great line.
It is a
So
great
then
line.
how good is Ian Bliss as Carmichael in this movie? How
Oh my
fucking
God.
good is this guy? Carmichael is a skeptic
Yep.
who tries to disprove Christu, and
Yep.
he's so incredible. It's such a scene-stealing performance.
And he's
If
pompous.
it wasn't up against David Desmalchian, the two of them together are fucking great.
The cast in this film is awesome. The Carmichael character, when I saw this, I was like, oh shit, we got Amazing Randy here, because he captures that pompous nature. The character, obviously, it's exaggerated, but I loved how dismissive he was. And you need that balance. It was actually great. The Christu character and him together, beautiful. And I don't think Christu was, no, I know he wasn't Uri Geller, because did you see that quick shot of Carmichael behind a guy bending spoons when they were showing his history?
Oh
So
yeah.
so they took a shot at poor Uri Geller, and
And Lorraine Warren, the
oh my,
Amityville
yes,
investigators, and like all these sort of different. He's like in the background of all these different famous like shots. He's like at the Amityville house. He's in Enfield for the ghost hauntings. It's so
yep,
fucking good. And he's like, it's so obviously like photoshopped, but it's just
it
like
is.
it fits in so well with the kind of I guess like plucky nature of this movie.
Did you know that there is a famous A-list celebrity that wanted to kill Uri Geller?
A famous A-list celebrity.
Yeah, you'd be shocked to know who it is.
Who is it?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson wanted to
M-
kill Uri Geller.
Michael Jackson had a kill list of people he wanted to see dead. One of them
Oh my God.
was Latoya Jackson's husband. I forget what his name is. And then another one was poor Uri Geller. Now, you can be the king of pop, but if you can't bend spoons, you're jealous.
Read a book. Like get off the internet, you know.
What? It's true story.
Just
You read a book.
I have been. I guess that's why I missed it.
Yeah, have you read the KGB and Uri Geller book? I think not.
I have not. You're right.
Boom. I rest my case.
So then Carmichael starts calling out Christu. Christu starts getting really sick, and then he just like vomits out this like projectile vomits, this black sludge all over the place. Cool fucking scene. He gets taken away to the hospital. And just one more thing about Ian Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good because the character of Carmichael used to be a magician, but you get to see the showman in the character, but also the fucking like needling asshole. Like it just I can't talk enough about this character. He's so good.
Love it.
Then we get to Jack introduces a book called Conversations with the Devil, where this woman, June Ross Mitchell, has taken this girl Lily into her care after Lily survived the cult of Abraxas. And they end up doing this big suicide thing. It's kind of a lot like Waco.
Yep.
But Lily survives.
Yeah.
And she's taken in by June, who becomes her therapist and also her ward. And they bring her out because Lily can become possessed by someone called Mr. Wriggles. And June holds these kind of sessions with Lily, and she brings Mr. Wriggles out, and her voice changes, and her eyes turn a different color, and her skin cracks, and it's really fucking cool. And they bring her out, and this girl is creepy as fuck.
She's awesome. Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, Ingrid Torelli. Now, did you know that everybody in this movie is Australian?
I did not know that.
Everybody but David Dastmalchian is Australian. They're all doing. I mean, you can kind of hear it in some places, but like they're all doing like pretty impeccable American accents.
They are, because I didn't detect any of it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Even the little girl, especially, it's just very crazy. Then we find out that June and Jack are having a secret relationship. Jack pushes June to do a possession session live on air. She doesn't want to do it, but he fucking pushes her and kind of manipulates her into doing it. And of course, Carmichael's like, well, yeah, I'd love to see this. Yeah, great. This is, you're exploiting this little girl. Like, you're such a prick. I love it.
He is.
So they do it, and her voice changes, and her eyes turn a different color, and she starts calling out these different things, like that June and Jack are in a relationship, and very intense stuff. So they cut to a commercial after that, and they find out like this is a huge ratings thing for them. Like everybody's sort of like going nuts over this, and they want to do it on the regular. And so like Jack Delroy's like really fucking happy about this. So what did you think of the possession session?
Loved it. I think the minute the young girl comes onto the stage, she owns it. Like it's very compelling stuff. The fact that she kind of plays like innocent, happy to be there. And then the switch gets flipped, and she becomes like this demonic creature levitating and all that cool stuff. I loved this whole thing. Before the show, I brought up the Ghost Watch and WNUF Halloween special of similar sort of stuff. Films like this, and you can say Blair Witch too, I suppose, where it almost feels like you're there. And this is one of those films where it's done so well, where you can picture yourself watching this actually happen, even though obviously it's fake. Yeah, I love the exorcism. I love Carmichael's dismissive, immediate reactions. Just good stuff. And Jack, who's like, I got gold here. There's like, in this scene, there's not a lot of like dialogue, but there's so much being told. Just great filmmaking, great scene. Loved it so much.
Because at its heart, this movie is a found footage movie.
Yes, it is. You're right.
So then Carmichael gets really upset by this because he thinks that the girl is being manipulated and exploited. So he says, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hypnotize your buddy Gus, and I'm going to show you how this whole thing was done. Another great fucking scene is Gus is Jack's sort of band leader / Andy Richter character who's just, there to give someone for Jack to talk to.
Yep.
And so Carmichael sits Gus down and he hypnotizes him. You just see worms start crawling out of Gus's neck, and then Gus tears his stomach open and worms are coming out, and his fucking eyeball pops out, and there's a giant fucking worm coming out of it. And then bam, he wakes him up.
Yes.
And everybody's freaking out. And everybody saw the worms. Everybody saw his eye come out and everything. And Carmichael's like, well, hey, let's go watch the tape back. And you find out Carmichael hypnotized almost everybody in the audience and Jack and everybody there. And so they watch the thing back and they say, oh, no. He was just He was just hypnotized. And Gus is fine. He's absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then they watch the tape back of the summoning possession session,
Yes.
and Jack's dead wife is in the background.
And earlier,
Creepy shit.
Christo earlier mentioned something about the dead wife, calling her
Mhm.
Minnie, and that was what set this off. Very creepy stuff, and that leads to what brought this all about. What brought the demon out? What brought this terrible situation out where Gus is dead and Carmichael gets killed, and you kind of get Jack thrown back to his deal with the devil, where he had to kill his wife to get this deal at the Bohemian Grove there. And I did sincerely dig it because it's that whole selling your soul for fame thing. Like, what would you give to be the A-lister? And unfortunately, Jack went that way. But I wondered, and maybe you have a theory on this. Do you think he's still under the trance that it is all bullshit? Carmichael did hypnotize everyone and it just stuck with him, that none of the stuff he saw was legit? Do you think that he was under the trance or all this stuff happened?
No, because I think in the meta narrative of the movie, because like we said before, this is a found footage movie, that you don't know what's going on in Jack's head,
Mm-hmm.
because Lily becomes possessed again and kills basically everybody there,
Yes.
and sends him on this like head trip where he sort of goes through different segments and then sees his wife again and then goes through the whole ceremony of drinking from the Grove thing. I think that did happen, but it's all inside Jack's head. It's just this like hallucinatory trip that he has. Yeah, no, I think it really happened. I think it was all there, because in the end he wakes up from his dream, and because in the dream his wife says basically, you have to kill me. And so he stabs his wife in his dream, but when he wakes up, he's actually stabbing the little girl, Lily.
Yes.
Brilliant fucking line to end on. He just says, "Dreamer, you're awake." And then bam, cut. Oh God,
now,
what a great.
Did you feel that there was a Halloween 3 shout out at the end like I
wrote
did?
that down. Turn it
yeah.
off. Turn it off.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome movie. Just done incredibly well. I did like the ending where Carmichael is holding up the check, begging for mercy. And I think Uri Geller, watching this now, probably thought I should have bent him like a spoon and got that check. Like, I think Uri probably regrets not doing that using his superpowers. Yeah, this movie is just fantastic. I love the shout outs to Amazing Randy, Uri Geller, John Edwards, the Bohemian Grove. They basically said, what do people, especially awesome people like myself, like? And I like the Bohemian Grove and the Uri Geller and the Randy stuff, and they brought it home. Well done, start to finish. Love the film. What did you think, Eric? Scale from 1 to 10, and how highly do you recommend this?
Oh, this movie to me is like a 10 on 10. I mean, that's why I was like, I think when I first saw it, I immediately texted you. I was like, Geno, you have to watch this movie. It's so fucking good, and you're gonna love the whole Grove aspect and all this shit. You're gonna fucking love it.
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean, I would recommend it to anyone who just like likes a really good vibe movie. It really captures the 70s television. It's a quick movie too. It's only like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And it's very, and you know me, I love my emotional horror films.
Of course,
and
yes.
David Dastmalchian is an amazing job. Special shout out to Ian Bliss. Another thing, Ian Bliss got this role like a couple of days before they started shooting. And he had to learn to do all that sleight of hand stuff, and he had to learn to do all that hypnosis stuff. And talk about I can't talk enough about how good Ian Bliss and David Dastmalchian are. Not to take anything away from anybody else in this movie, but those two are just like standout performances that
I agree.
I always think about those characters. If I was gonna nitpick something, I would say the CGI is pretty wonky.
I agree.
But that being said, it kind of fits in with the 70s sort of vibe of the movie. It looks good. Like if it was in the 70s, it looks really good, but it's not.
Yep.
I think they did a pretty good job at formatting it for this film, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Like it looked okay in context of a 70s television show. But I love this movie. I've seen it a whole bunch of times. It's almost a comfort food at this point. I absolutely loved it. Geno, what did you think?
Awesome movie, fantastic stuff, lots of fun. This is the whole thing is like there are films like this that make you suspend your disbelief. When you watch a movie, typically you're watching a movie. When you watch a film like this, you try to pretend it's real. And that's the point, and it works. This film, great formula, and it checks the boxes. It's relatable because like the whole Amazing Randy thing and all the other stuff I mentioned, it really brings it. It hits home. It hits a lot of popular topics, and the acting's off the hook. I love this film. I think it's fantastic. Highly recommend it. Like you, I've watched it several times, but the last time I watched it, which was last night, I actually just made sure like I had every other distraction off. I just watched the movie and I appreciated it even more. So yeah, high props to it. A must see. Anyone that's a horror fan will dig this film. So yeah, highly recommend it. Now, Eric, to wrap up, I know that out of the three films, obviously you would say this one, Race with the Devil, and then Devil's Reign. It would be in that order. But yeah, if you were Satan himself and you watch these three movies, which one would make your satanic heart the warmest in your opinion?
Well, we all know that Satan loves good filmmaking.
Yes,
It's undisputed fact at this point. It's in the Bible.
I've read it.
And I would say I would be over the moon, under the stars with Late Night with the Devil. I can't tell you how much it warms the cockles of my hellish heart to see something that is so amazingly dedicated to the craft of filmmaking, which, of course, the devil is a huge fan of. I would then say I don't look like a goat, so I don't know why they put Abe Vigoda or what's his name?
Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine. I don't know why they put Ernest Borgnine in a goat mask to celebrate me.
Yes.
And Peter Fonda's cool. I'm sure he's down there with him, Or is he still alive?
No, I think he's dead. But if he's not dead,
Oh.
he's going to hell anyway. I agree with you. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Easy Rider sucked.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That movie sucked.
Fine.
Well,
Have it your way. That's why you're going to hell.
yeah.
Geno, what do you think Satan thinks of these three films?
Well, I think
The
Satan
good
would have.
Catholic boy, I'm sure that you are.
I was a. I went through catechism and all that good stuff, and I think Satan himself would say Race with the Devil would be number 2 because he kind of feels like, why are they running from me? I didn't do anything to them. Those guys in the cloaks, they got their own free will. I think he would look at Devil's Reign as his favorite because he's like, hey, Borgnine's representing. Look at him. He's got that great goat head mask on. That's my speed. And he would watch Late Night with the Devil, and I think he would chuckle, and he'd say, "Hey, they tried, but I don't spit out black shit. Fuck Amazing Randy." I think that's what the devil. And by the way, he would also say, "And Amazing Randy's down here with me too. They all float," or whatever he would say. Great stuff, great movies, great satanic fun. You can't go wrong with Satan. This whole Satan storyline shit, you can put it in any film, and it makes the film better. It's like icing on the cake. Don't you agree?
I do. I love a good Satan movie. Actually, what's funny is I've just watched that movie The Burbs, and I think it has that scene from Race with the Devil where they
Yeah, it
sacrifice
does.
her in it. It does it? Is that
It
it?
does. That's the one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And that actually makes Tom Hanks dream of them all in cloaks and saying,
Yes.
Satan is good, Satan is our pal.
He's our pal.
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Well, anyway, Eric, it's been my pleasure as always. Any closing comments?
I hope Satan is kind to everyone listening to this, and you have a good hellish summer ahead of you.
And it is hot as hell. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And definitely check out more satanic films because you can't go wrong. Although there is that one from the 1940s where Satan is churning butter and then it turns into him jerking off. I don't know what movie that is. I'm sure it's in your DVD collection, Eric, so you can probably tell me what it is. but I did see a clip
It's in
from
your
it.
fucking search history, dude. We're good friends, but we're not the same person.
Anyway, great show. We appreciate everyone listening, and thank you so much.
Subject to changes, nothing stays the same. Life keeps spinning in this endless game. Grab your worries, throw them to the flame. Stay tuned and ride.